Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again, on my way to the gym for another workout of BBSM. Now today's workout is actually very similar to what you guys saw on Monday, so we're going to be working up to some heavy singles on high bar squats, then drop the weight a little bit and do a couple of sets of triples, I believe. And then we're going to be doing sumo pulls from a deficit, which is something I don't think I've done before on this program. I have done actual conventional pulls from a deficit, but sumo pulls from a deficit, and then a couple of sets of sumo block pulls. So we're not doing anything from the floor just yet, which is fine. Sometimes this accessory work really helps me more than the actual floor work itself, only because we're working on some of the places I have issues with, especially with these deficits, because I really have trouble breaking the weight from the floor, so I like doing that. And then I think we're doing some pull-ups as well, and you'll notice that a lot of times in these workouts we'll be doing a lot of pull-ups pretty much on every kind of day, you know, whether it's chin-ups, pull-ups. In some cases we'll do the incline chest supported rows as well, but there's a lot of lat work at the end, and I found this has really helped because honestly, who doesn't want a big ass back? So enough of me jabbering, let's get on to the workout. All right, so getting back into it again, squatting on BBSM. This is the third time out of the 5 days. We will be squatting again before this week is out. However, the goal today was to work up to heavy singles using a high bar, narrower stance. Now for this too, I must say, as you see that one set there, 410, and the next one here at 430, that my right shoulder was really bothering me. I think this was from yesterday only because all of the shoulder volume. I hadn't had a shoulder day in several weeks, and I really just kind of tweaked it, and it was really uncomfortable for me to grab the bar as well as do some of the other deadlifts that will be coming up. And I really thought about not even coming to the gym today, but I figured I could work around it. So here you see my next set, or next single I should say, and this is at 450, and again for a single. Feels pretty good. I felt like my bar speed was pretty good. I'm really trying to accelerate as fast as possible, even though sometimes it doesn't really feel like that. From here, we then jumped up to 470, again for a single, although here we're using some 25-pound bumper plates, so it looks like it's a lot heavier than it is, and it still feels pretty good going up, which is a perfect time for a "that's what she said" joke. Now getting onto my last single here of 480, these felt pretty good, again, all things considered. I squatted high bar for a long time, but basically since doing low bar for the past year, this is just not comfortable for me just yet. I'm still trying to figure out the best bar placement, although today did feel a lot more stable than it did last time, so that means we're making progress. Now from here, we then dropped the weight of whatever the heavy single was that we worked up to, 15%, and aimed for 3 reps of 3. So I'm using 410 here, and just a reminder, those little clamps you see do add just about 5 pounds, so I rounded up to 410, even though the math should have been 408. Based off of 15% less than 480. So 3 reps of 3 here. The first one felt pretty good. The second one, I believe, was actually probably one of my better ones, and the bar speed really sped up here, and again, really trying to be explosive here. Some of the feedback I've been getting from Dan on some of these is telling me I need to get really moving faster, and trust me, I'm trying, but this is just really heavy for me. I'm not making excuses, but that's just something I'm trying to keep in mind here, trying to explode out of the hole. Again, that's what she said. So working up to my last set here, and again, just so you guys can notice, I am wearing these SBD sleeves. You guys have been asking when I'm going to be doing a review of those. I will say I'll try to do this in the next week or two, only because I've only been using them for a week, and I'd like to use them a little bit longer before I give you a comparison with the Ray-Bans. But I must say that I really do definitely like these better, and I'll talk about why in my comparison video. So that wrapped up squats, and from here we moved on to pulls from the floor, which is different than what I said in the car vlog, only because I had gotten an email from Dan during training that said he made a mistake, and I should be pulling from the floor from the first exercise instead of at a deficit. So here you see a set of 5 of 320 pounds. Now the goal of this was to work up sets of 5 to a heavy set of 5, and that's exactly what I intended to do. Now just some background information as you see my second set here at 410 pounds. I pulled sumo for a long time, but my 1 rep max for sumo, back when I was still doing it, was 455 pounds. Now obviously conventional, I've been able to pull 600. So this was something that was going to be interesting only because I wasn't sure how heavy I was going to be able to work. As you see my next set here of 460 pounds, one of the things I'll tell you is I've been thinking of using my right hand as an underhand grip. My left hand is over for these sumo pulls as I did last time. However, because I was having some shoulder issues, like I said, in my right shoulder, it was very difficult for me to turn my right hand over. You can also see my form starting to break down here some. Again, I attribute this to the fact that I'm not really accustomed to doing sumo pulls, not to mention my shoulder hurts, as well as I just really kicked my own ass squatting, so this was really heavy for me, and you can see a ton of form breakdown here on my last set, which is 500 for 5 reps. It looks really ugly and I apologize, and this is definitely something that I need to work on, but I have no problem showing you my form breakdowns because this really motivates me to get better, as well as hopefully you guys can learn from some of my mistakes as you see me here almost visit Snap City on Valentine's Day. So after that was done, we then moved on to block pulls, and the goal here for these block pulls was to work up again in sets of 3 to a heavy set of 3. Now I'm pretty tired by this point just because of that last set took a lot out of me, not to mention all the squats and deadlifting I've done to this point. So I didn't go overly heavy on this. Now typically on block pulls you can go a lot heavier, you can go for overloads here because the range of motion is really shortened. So you saw my first set there of 410 for 3, you then see 460 here for 3. Finally, before moving on to my last heavy set, and this is where I stopped it at 500 for 3. Again, I really consider this a win, even though, again, some form breakdown, only because I haven't really worked this heavy before and I'm pushing myself to places I haven't been. And Dan's been really great about giving me feedback about what I need to correct, so hopefully he'll be able to give me a lot of feedback on this point. So that's going to wrap up the workout for today. You can follow the rest. I didn't record all of it on Fitocracy, but as always, in the meantime, thanks for watching and stay big.